and welcome back to the WTF podcast as we bring you one of our summer episodes to keep you going over the summer and pre-season. As the title of the pod probably suggests you, we're here to pick our ultimate Sunderland 11, but there's a couple of rules. First one is you've got to be using only players that have played at the Stadium Light, so the Stadium Light era, and there's a couple of other ones which I'll get to. But before I do, I'm going to introduce our guests. First and foremost, it's Dave Lawrence. Dave, how are you doing, mate? You well?
Yeah, not bad. Trying to behave myself because I don't want to give you too much editing for the day. And I've had a few shandies. I'm not going to lie. I've enjoyed myself. I've enjoyed the sun and slightly cooler weather because it's been 30 degrees down here and it's been disgusting. So, cheeky little 22 today. We'll take that. Followed by 22 beers and talking about Barley Mumba. I can't wait.
The panic's already set in. Sophie, you're just back from Barcelona. Did you bring us any players?
Oh, only bad ones, I'm afraid. When we do this, I want to put a disclaimer out there. I was born in 2002, so mine are quite out there and quite bad. So don't be shocked if you see David Vaughan in there somewhere.
I thought this disclaimer was going to be like that supermodel about Lamine Yamal. I thought that's where this disclaimer was going.
No, I brought him back, man. He's in my suitcase.
Yes, Sophie, yes. To be fair, one of the rules is that you have to pick players that you've seen and played in the Stadium Light era. So Sophie's knackered, and also when you said the year you were born, everyone just absolutely felt ancient, including myself and everybody listening. Someone who is a little bit more ancient, sorry Ian, is a new member of the podcast. It's Ian Dobson. Ian, how are you doing? You all right?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'll echo Dave's sentiment on the weather. It's been far too hot, and I spent yesterday sat in an uncovered stand dressed as the Undertaker in a one-piece lycra singlet. So I've lost about 90% of my body weight, it feels like, but I'm alive, so I'll take it.
Didn't Gary Lineker once lose 2 stone at Italia 90 and shot himself as well? They're not correlated, but
yeah, I didn't shoot myself, but it was. I know how it feels.
Yes.
I've also just found out they had to play at the Stadium of Light, so what notes I may have in my head have completely gone out the window. So it should be fun.
Should be fun, mate, indeed. But we'll go through the rules. Look, there's a couple of them, as I've said. It's got to be the Stadium of Light era, so 1997 up to this day. You've got to have seen them play at the Stadium of Light. You don't have to necessarily have seen them directly play there, but I'm assuming you will have done if you are a Sunderland fan on this podcast. The other rules are pretty simple. You've got to pick your formation beforehand, and you can only have 4-4-2, 4-3-3, or 4-5-1. And you must pick that formation, like I say, before we begin it. And if one person picks a player, i.e., if I pick Thomas Sorensen as my goalkeeper, nobody else can have him. And the final rule, like I say, you have to have seen them live. But I'm assuming if you've been to the Stadium Light and you were alive at the time, one of us has probably seen them. But the first pick I'm going to give to, just to be fair, is Sophie, because I feel like you deserve the first pick because you're having much slimmer pickings than us ancient old men. Sorry, Ian.
Fine. It's fair.
Right, so I think
Pick your formation.
4-3-3 for me. Am I starting a goalie? Is that where I'm starting? Yeah. Okay. Pickford. It's got to be Pickford.
Good shout.
Yeah. He's the best goalkeeper I think I've seen play. Has to be.
If I was picking my ultimate all-time Sunderland 11 and there was literally no rules, I'm not going to mention names I could pick, but everyone knows we've always had decent goalkeepers, but Pickford would still be my pick because I think he's the most naturally talented player that we've had. So yeah, no argument with that. I'm gonna let you have that. I mean, I can't take it off you. I'll let you have the first choice. But...
No.
And I think it's only fair to give Ian the second choice since you're a new member. For now, anyway. I mean, you might not pass the test.
Not well. This is it. It all depends on how this 11 goes. I'm going. I might just go 4-4-2. You know.
Yeah.
Just to keep it simple, because 4-3-3 is just a bit of a minefield. I'm going Craig Gordon for my goalkeeper because he's made the best save I've ever seen at the stadium. So probably anywhere.
I agree with you on that. up until maybe Pat O's save at Wembley. That's right. No, it's still Craig Gordon. But I'd give you Craig Gordon because, and I don't know if I should say this, but I sat next to him about 3 weeks ago, and he's extremely handsome for a man that's like older than me. And I'm just like, is that what's going to happen when I hit 42, or is it going to go progressively worse? But he's a really handsome. If it was handsome 11, he'd get in. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think he was unlucky with injuries because I know he had a bad his knee pretty much finished him. Yeah, and he had obviously broke his arm when
JD.
Another former player accidentally kicked him. But no, I think he was spot on.
Keeper. Yeah,
good keeper.
great.
Yeah, really good keeper. Just unfortunate with the timing of everything for him. So
I think when it comes to keepers, it's the one position where we're going to be absolutely fine. So it's going to give me a bit of grief, give Dave a bit of grief here because he's already given me an editing point, which the listeners, of course, will not know about. So I'm going to take the next pick. I would have normally picked Pickford. That would be my number one keeper, but Sophie's took Pickford, so I've got to just go for Sorensen, really.
Are you going 4-4-2 as well, by the way?
No, 4-3-3.
Oh, fair enough.
Just to give myself a challenge, really, because if you're picking my all-time team, the wonderful duo up front would be my obvious pick, but I think I'll have a little bit more choice with 4-3-3. I mean, I might have fucked myself there, but I think Sorensen's would have probably been the second choice. Craig Gordon's slightly left field, but another great goalkeeper, so not that left field. But there's loads of good keepers, Dave. I've not really screwed you here.
No, mate, I'm struggling between the two with the same initials. To be fair, GM. So everyone's going to listen and go, which one of the two?
Jurgen Macho.
I was going to say I'm completely on the winder between Jurgen Macho and John McLaughlin, just for a bit more editing or just to wind everyone up listening.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's how this is going to roll. It's summer. I'm delirious. Everyone's got to get over it. I'm really sorry. I'll be serious and miserable when we're getting pummeled 7-0 every week. For that, I think he's class. I think he was brilliant at the time. Probably one of the only ever Estonian players to have ever played for Sunderland, I would have thought.
I think he's the only one.
Yeah, exactly. And just the fact that everyone shouting boom was amazing. So, and I actually think he was a pretty decent goalkeeper, to be fair. So because Sorensen's gone, because Pickford's gone, Craig Gordon, most expensive at the time, wasn't he? I think I'll go for Mark Poon. And I'm going 4-5-1, by the way, for the exact same reason as you, just to be a bit different.
I can't believe we've missed Mignolet out. I thought Mignolet was
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
I thought Mignolet was class. There's Monone as well, just because Vito. And he had a really good chant, right? Fair enough. He had a really good chant. But the best chant I ever heard never got used, and it was at Old Trafford afterwards. And I was just walking down the street, just happy as Larry because we'd made Wembley. And this guy had a Sunderland scarf on, noticed my Sunderland scarf, and then just shouted, what was it, Chesney Hawkes? He went, I am Vito Manone, nobody I'd rather be. And I thought it was excellent. I thought it was very funny. But right backs, Ian, I'll let you have the next choice because technically you had, this is not really, you've had better options, but you knew it's fine.
I would have to pick Trey Hume because he's class and tries to snap people in half and does quite often, but quite fairly. And it's my son's middle name's Trey, so I can't not pick him really. So
was it after?
Yeah.
Nice name.
Yeah, I'm named after a Sunderland player. My brother is, and so thought I could continue the tradition.
Must be really unlucky being named after George Dobson, like.
Well, I saw him score for Sunderland, so that's a thing in itself.
Collector's item.
And me and my dad did call him our George for quite a time when he was at the club, but then after we watched him play football, we were like, we should probably stop doing that because it's.
For me, right back, Stadium Light. Again, probably for the same reasons that Ian's just said. Plus, I thought he had a bit of silk about him, and you're probably going to get a little bit gutted about it. But it'd be Chris Macon for me.
Oh, no.
I know. This is the problem with this game for me and you. And that's why I've gone 4-5-1, just to try and mix it up a bit. But Chris Macon was stellar, to be quite honest. And it's really hard to not start picking that team when, one, I was at my most impressionable age-wise, and secondly, team that was finishing 7th in the Premier League when the likes of Henry, Bergkamp, etc., were kicking about. So yeah, quite an easy Chris Macon for me, I think.
I love Chris Macon. Great fella. Really good
Cool.
lad.
Shout.
Close between him and Barley Mumba, to be fair. I couldn't decide which one. But
So far apart, it's untrue. Sophie, at risk of like absolutely knackering myself here, because I think I am, I'll give you the choice of the right back.
Mine is right. Mine's just based on one reason.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be Phil Bardsley.
Oh, I knew you were taking
I
Barney.
know. I'm sorry. And I'll tell you why. It's because you did remind me. I was torn, but you did remind me of that the United game,
Mm-hmm.
and when he scored that goal. Oh, and like obviously we weren't there. We were in my front room, and that's the reason why I'm picking Bardsley. I'm sorry, Graham.
Aye, they're like because they're the best three right backs of like the Stadium Light era, and to go further back for a good right back is John Kay. Didn't play at the Stadium Light, so at the minute my head's going Darren Holloway. He was all right for a season. Burnt Arse was no, he's not getting in.
definitely not.
He was called Burnt Arse to begin with, like, and he played like he had a burnt arse, which is just the irony of the whole thing. Oh, I can't really. I'm like Anthony Revillier was decent.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
classic. I mean, to be fair, the rest of your options here, trying to think of Justin Hoyt,
no, if
Javier
you
Manquillo.
Did Carlos Edwards not play at right back sometimes?
right
If he
wing
needed
back.
to? Oh,
Right wing back. He went to right back eventually with like Millwall. He did play right back with Millwall when he went there, but for us he was right wing. He was right wing. I would be kidding myself if I did that. The one option that's coming in my head, but it's only because of a really good goal he scored, is Nedum Onua. Nedum Onua? Onua?
I know, yeah.
I've just overcomplicated that, haven't I? A bit like picking this team.
And he probably did he play? He will have played right back for us, but did he not probably play more centre half as well?
No, he was right back for the start. Then he went the centre back for a bit, and then Brucey started putting him up front when all our strikers got injured for a bit.
Yeah.
Revillier was really classy. Right, okay. I feel bad not putting Darren Holloway in because Darren Holloway was actually decent for us in that 97-98 season, and it just so happened that Chris Macon ended up taking his place, and he gradually fell down the pecking order. But he always did a job for us, Darren Holloway, even though his career maybe after us didn't go as well. He didn't play as well anywhere else or have as much success anywhere else. But if I think about a player that was like really, really good in that small Great Escape period, and also a bit of a cult hero for being actually quite crap. And I know I'm missing someone here, and I know everyone's screaming at me for this, but I'm going to go for it. Santiago Virginie. I've gone for it. Virginie's me right back. It's in. Yeah, it's in. It's too late. Dave, you can pick a centre back or a left back. It's up to you.
I'm just going pure nostalgic. It's as simple as that. They're good players as well, but I think
they're all nostalgia.
Well, obviously, yeah.
Apart from Sophie.
If I'm not mistaken, I was absolutely buzzing because I had a mate who was a Chef Wed fan.
Right.
And there was one summer, and I'm thinking, I absolutely wish he was hard as nails, and I absolutely loved him. And again, probably a bit more of a cult hero, and he probably wasn't quite at his best when he was at us. He certainly had better spells.
Don't you dare.
I can't put I've got to because I absolutely loved him when I was a kid. Why were you going to put him in as well?
No, because you might not be thinking of the same person, but didn't it?
Well,
didn't say this.
If he's Brazilian and he's a centre half.
Oh no, it's fine.
Oh,
it's
that's
fine.
all right.
Of all the centre halves, it seemed like you picked Emerson Tom.
Yeah, mate. I just thought he was hard as nails, and I thought he was a bit classy as well, and it was a bit of a change of the guard for us. I used to love watching him. But again, like I say, it's pure nostalgia more than ability-wise. He was a very good centre half, to be fair.
Do you know when you were talking about Chef Wed, do you know who I thought you'd picked?
Go on.
Glenn Loovens.
No, I'm taking Emerson Tom over him, to be fair. But then, do I?
There's so many. Like Emerson Tom was all right, but there's so many better centre halves.
Well, there is.
But you could have him. But first pick just seems a bit weird.
Yeah, I know, because I'm trying to think of everyone else as well at the same time. I'm being nice like that. I am going to go Emerson Tom, and I'll see if my other one comes back round. But yeah, I thought it was classy. We paid about £4.5 million for him, which at the time for us was like huge money. Probably didn't quite live up to it, and probably was only with us for about 8 9 months. But I was buzzing at the sign, and if not the fact that he
No,
wasn't.
he was. Emerson was good. The problem with Emerson was, if I remember right, he played like 99 games, and he got like an extra bit of cash on his contract if you played 100. So we just stopped playing him for ages and signed Talal El Karkouri instead, and
Oh,
played him there. So and it didn't work out well. Shock horror. But I'll take the second pick on the centre half because I've not given myself anywhere first or second yet, and it allows me to have who I think's been the best centre half of the Premier League era. Sorry, the Stadium Light era. And I don't think too many people disagree with this. And if I'm picking a team with Virginia, and I need to have someone who's like really calm, composed, and will just show things up at the back. So Johnny Evans, like,
Shout.
yeah, you can't really knock Johnny Evans. Like, it's Johnny Evans. He's class. He was class both times, and I'd probably even take him back now, even though he's retired. But Ian, I'll let you have the next centre half.
Spawn, I'll take the one that I thought you were going to say when you said it was going to be the best centre half in the Premier League era. Injury problems was only there a short time, but John Mensah,
Oh,
because he was class, but was just his knees were made of Weetabix. So
he had a spinal cave injury, didn't he? And so it meant
something
like
like that.
basically his body just occasionally went nope. But like, can you remember the groans? He'd put into class tackles, and then you just see his hamstring go, and everyone go, "Oh, he's gone again for 12 games."
Yeah,
Oh no, can't argue with
yeah,
that. Class John Mensah. Two loan spells as well, a bit like Johnny Evans. Didn't he have two?
I think so. Yeah,
And
I
everyone,
think he
what did
might
he
have
just
only
sign him
played like
permanently?
20 games for us, but he was we just got to the point where we're like, just don't train, John. Just turn up on a Saturday and be mint, and he generally was.
Please don't overstretch yourself. Whatever you do, please don't. The hilarious part about this is,
Yeah,
by the way, it's Sophie's turn, and she's just gone. She just left the chat. I don't know where she's gone, so I'm gonna have to just chat some things here for a while. To be fair, I was thinking this before. Outside it, like, is there any right backs that I've completely missed out on?
I would have shouted more cult hero than anything, but Carl Winchester would have been a shout at right back.
Nyron.
no,
Nah, oh,
good old Nugsy. He's
as
got to
far
be
as
sent
cult
off, hasn't he?
heroes go,
Oh
um,
no, man! I picked Virginia.
Sophie's just messages. She's had to take the padlock off the suitcase to let Lamine out. You know,
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
What
It's
did
your
you pick?
so
Me?
the centre halves that I've gone at the minute are Johnny Evans, Emerson Tom, and John Mensah. You've got, I
Ah,
mean, not from your era, but you've got some decent choices.
right. I'm gonna go Wes Brown.
Oh, aye.
I liked Wes Brown. I thought he was class. Loved him.
Yeah, I'm fine with Wes Brown. He, do you remember, to the people who listen to this podcast, I'm going to give you another story that's got no real, like, fun about it, but people will remember one of the first interviews I had on this was Wes Brown back in, like, 2020, whenever I started this. And he was the only guest that's ever done a podcast outside. He just took his podcast outside and sunbathed during it. And like he does a Ronaldo impression in it, which might be the funniest Ronaldo impression I've ever heard. But what people don't realize is that he was talking about what he was like in the dressing room as a kid. He said, "Oh, I used to flex his muscles and that." But Wes Brown actually flexed his muscles as he told us, but it wasn't a recorded video podcast. So he kind of just was, but he was going, you like my pics, and he was like that in dressing room and that. And yeah, it was funny. You get to save me.
I've got the one for right back. I'll go back to the Reid era, and just to have a general hard bastard in there, I'll go for Paul Butler.
Oh yeah, yeah, I like Paul Butler.
And his nickname was Pies, which is just brilliant.
What was the lyric? The lyric again, like, see the size of Butler's thighs, he's running on pie energy. Was that the lyric to Nile Quinn's Disco Pants? I think it was.
I hope so.
He was
It's the
massive.
first time I've heard it, but yeah.
I feel like that, because the Premier League season, no, the Championship season, or the NCAA League Division 1 as it was, we had Williams and Craddock, and occasionally Darren Williams, because he wasn't a centre half, or just wasn't big enough. And you're like, we need someone who's going to be like a big, massive centre half. And we brought in the most centre half we've ever had, and he was just this big, massive bastard that would just head things. Like, sorry, Paul, but like a bad Dan Ballard, maybe.
I think the term that would be used to describe him now is just an experienced Championship bastard.
Yeah, yeah. But that was back in the day when Berry was sponsored by Birthdays.
Yeah.
If you want some retro stuff, I'll give Dave the next pick for your centre half.
Well, I'm really, really glad that because as soon as Ian said hard bastard and experienced, I was like, oh, is he going? But absolute governor. Only had a year with us, but absolutely loved watching him. Absolute Stella and Rolls Royce to go alongside Emerson really nicely. Steve Bold.
Yeah.
Absolute
shout and a half that.
Rolls Royce.
Yeah,
standards and class, and he had it in abundance.
Sophie's just like, who's Steve Bold?
To be fair, he looks like a better looking version of me and Ross.
Yeah, and still a younger version, even though I think he's in his like late 50s now. But no, you know what? Steve Bold, if you hadn't picked him, I would have picked Steve Bold, because Steve Bold, I think outside of Johnny Evans, was the best centre half I've seen at the club. And then I'd probably go maybe John Mensah. But there's an obvious choice for me here. Go next to, I think he'd fit quite nicely next to Johnny Evans. Different era to an extent. Like Johnny Evans was just coming through when this lad was not near the end of his career, but he was an experienced pro. And I feel a bit bad missing out Dan Ballard, because I really like Dan Ballard for obvious reasons. I love Luke O'Nien as well, but I just think there's not been many more classy centre halves than Jody Craddock. Great defender.
Shout.
Yeah, great defender, solid, very ginger. You need a ginger in the team. You can't win anything without gingers.
Yeah.
Just really classy human being as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
Just a lovely, lovely bloke.
Really good painter.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Really
I've got
good
his paint of the 1973 Cup team in my porch.
Has he?
So, I've got it, yeah.
Is he expensive?
I don't know. It was a gift from my dad. So
From Santa, you mean?
I think it was a moving in present, to be fair, so there was no need for any kind of
Santa-y thing.
is he, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. He's real. Sophie, you've got a few decent picks, to be fair. We've had some decent centre halves recently.
Yeah. I'm really torn because, like you say, I love Dan Ballard, but I'm gonna go. He was
Joel
only.
Lynch.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's it. I'll move on. Next one. No. You know what? It's gonna be Eunice Kabul because that season. I know, like it wasn't. It was just the one season, but the escape from relegation. And I remember when he used to get the ball, and I remember this one game, and he just bombed down with the ball, carrying the ball for ages. And obviously he had like Boole, which was really cute, and like I don't know. I just loved him. I thought he was class. And at the end, obviously, he was crying, wasn't he? With just, emotion, and I like seeing that.
The
Quite nice.
The assist for Fletcher as well.
For Fletch, yeah. Really French as well. And like, I like the fact that when we first tried to sign him, he was the only Spurs player that was like, not even if there's a hurricane. And like 4 years later, he's tailed between his legs, like, hello. How are you? To be fair though, he did get me banned from Bournemouth Weatherspoons because he got sent off when we got beat 2-0 down Bournemouth. And like, I'm just going to be honest, Bournemouth is awful. Like, it's just people on bikes that look happy, and it just makes me feel a bit uncomfortable because like, who lives like that? And we got beat 2-0. It was absolutely boiling. I think we were 2-0 down after 11 minutes. He hadn't had a good start of the season. He got sent off, and I thought he was absolutely crap, and I went on a massive rant. And then the person in Weatherspoons wouldn't serve us fast enough, so I lost my rag and shouted, and the bouncers kicked us out. And then I tried to go back later on, and they kicked us out again. They went, "We've seen you before. Get out." And the only
problem, to get back in.
Yeah, I waited for about half an hour. I went to get some chuddy and that, and I got like a packet of the sweeties or something. And I went back in thinking, "Oh, I'll not notice." I think I took me quarter for something, and the guy immediately went, "Get out." And it was like the only pub in Bournemouth, really. So it was like, it was just crap. Like, that's when the day ended. And we got beat But after that, he improved quite a lot, so fair play. Have I had a first pick yet on anything? Oh, I have. My centre half, I did. Okay, right, I'll give the first choice to Dave. You left back.
Quarters putting steroid spray up my nose there, so apologies for that little interlude.
Putting steroids up your nose?
Yeah, just hay fever crap.
Right.
I've done really well here because I didn't expect to go left back, and probably one of the classiest left backs. I think the season that he had was amazing. For us then to go and offer about £3-4 million for him to sign for Chelsea for about 20 tells you where the club was at in terms of who was running it. But yeah, I absolutely thought, again, just stellar. Marcus Alonso.
Yeah.
Thought he was absolutely wonderful, to be quite honest with you. And there's plenty of them out there. I don't really want to mention the idiot who represents TalkSport. Sorry if you're listening, but you don't love us as much. You're a Manchester United fan. But he had quite a decent career as well, didn't he?
Can I just, you're talking about Mickey Gray here, right? And I'm going to point something out. Someone else tweeted this, but I just want to point it out because Mickey Gray's never going on this podcast. I'm fine. It's all right. I don't have a year-long pass to Annabelle the Idol, so I'm fine. I can't pay him in the vouchers. But someone pointed this out. The reason we over-celebrate moments, quote-unquote, over-celebrate moments like Dan Ballard is because of you, Mickey, not being able to take a fucking penalty. That's why. Like, if you just scored the penalty and not took it the way you did, maybe you wouldn't over-celebrate. But anyway, that's just my be out of my bonnet. Dave, you going with Marcus Alonso, yes?
Marcus Alonso, mate, yes.
Okay, fantastic. Sophie, I'll let you have second pick.
Patrick Van Aanholt.
Ooh.
I liked PVA.
Great
Yeah,
scout.
I just thought he was cool, and he was, you know what, he was quite good at free kicks as well. So
PVA was good once Allardyce got hold of him.
yeah,
I just want to double check, just so I don't have to put any disclaimer on this. You said you like PVA. You mean the football player, not sniffing it?
No, not sniffing the glue.
Good, that's fine. I'm just checking. I'll take the third pick. Mickey Gray's the obvious, really, because look, Annabelle's Nidals aside and silly comments on TalkSport to get effect. He was a really good modern day left back that started on the right wing, and then he moves to left back, and that partnership with Magic Johnson was just outstanding. Completely telepathic. He could whip a ball in, he could score a goal, and he was an idiot, but he was our idiot for a period of time, and he played for England. But I'm not picking Mickey Gray for his comments the other week. I'm sorry, no. I think Alonso is my favourite left back of that Stadium Light era, and probably is my favourite left back probably of all time that we've had. And I could go Martin Scott. I could go Danny Rose, but he tainted himself by wearing the wrong colours at a certain point. So I'm going to go really, really, really modern because he's absolutely gorgeous and go with Dennis Serkin. I'm completely comfortable with it as well. Like, I think Serkin's adequate. Serkin's in. Ian, your left back.
Yeah.
Got a few
My
choices.
left back. Well, there's a fair few to pick from. You've mentioned them. Mickey Gray's not getting picked because he's a prick.
No.
Lauren de Bock would have been in the conversation. But it was a toss up between two, and there's a caveat with one. It's the first spell he had with us. I was thinking about George McCartney before he came back. He was brilliant in his first spell, went to West Ham, came back and just never played. And when he did, he was awful. But Martin Scott would be my pick because he was a left back who would take a fucking penalty.
Scotty, if he didn't have his injuries, I argue would have played for England. I think he could have played for England. And I'd be
forgot that he played at the Stadium of Light and he was already a name that was in my head because I watched him at Roker Park. But
if you remember Scotty, this 105 point season, Scotty came back to fitness at the start, so really actually pushed Mickey Gray at right back. Dropped Darren Holloway, who was the right back at the time, and then eventually Scotty got injured. I think his last game, was against Lincoln in the FA Cup. Mickey Gray goes back to left back, and then Chris Macon at that point came through, and then that was it, really. That was the defence. You had, I was going to say Mary Melville there. I mean, I have said
Oh,
it.
he would have been a shout, wouldn't he?
I didn't mind Mary Melville. He was all right. I don't know. I just remember me called Mary. I can't actually remember the meaning behind it. I was too young. But
No.
anyway, right, Sophie, I'll let you have the first pick. What did you go with? 4-3-3.
3-3.
All right, okay. You can pick one of three midfielders in that case.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna go with CDM because I really want him in my team, and it is Jan Kirchhoff.
Oh no, man!
That's a shout and a half, that mate.
I loved what the guy I used to sit next to used to go, "Come on, German!" Every time he got on the ball. Honestly, he used to go, "How are you, German?" It was class, and we still say it now. Me and my granddad, him saying German, but he was so good. But he was so well managed under Allardyce.
Yeah,
He was so like he probably couldn't play 90 minutes, and obviously that's why he ended up getting he was so injury prone. But I think for 60 minutes he was a Rolls Royce.
he would get in my best ever Sunderland team as well. And I know some people find that a shock because he played so little, but I thought he was absolutely class. And I interviewed him in Germany years ago, before pandemic, so we're talking a while ago. And I won't go into it out of respect to the interview, but he, like off air, he absolutely hates David Moyes.
Well,
Like,
yeah, he
hates him.
ruined him, didn't he?
Yeah,
So do we all.
basically. I mean, yeah, like he's
I mean,
one of
not
many.
for no respect of David Moyes whatsoever, and on air, I hate David Moyes. So, well done, Jan. Friends forever.
That's why I like them. I'll go second pick midfield. What did I go? 4-3-3.
4-3-3.
Yeah, you're going for.
Get off if you're going where I think you're going first pick. Get off.
Well, Kirchhoff would be my pick normally. Right, okay. And people are going to get annoyed with this, but I'm going with it. And I really, really I'm comfortable with putting this player in the team.
God, it's Barley Mumber again, isn't it?
No.
It's not George Dobson.
No. Wouldn't do the pod, so he's not getting in. There's loads of players that I like. Like, I won't mention them because obviously it's giving it away, but like, I loved Seb, I love Katz, I love Bowley. Donaldson was great, even though his football opinion on Coventry's a little bit skew-if. But I honestly think this boy's going to go on to be like one of the best players the country's got of his generation. And sadly, it'll not be with us. And people are going to get annoyed at me with this because I've picked him over Bowley and Alex Ray and Hutchison and Stefan Schwartz and like proper legends of the football club. But this is how highly I rate him. I'm going to go with Job. And I'm completely comfortable with it. Come at me with it. I don't care. Like, I'll just send you stupid
It's going to be lovely in 3 years' time when he does what we know he's going to do. And everyone's like, it's his name, it's his brother. And it's like, yeah, okay, just keep believing. I don't even get irate over it anymore because everyone is going to see it. Everyone is going to see it, and I don't even care.
He's class on that, and I don't think I'll be wrong with it. And he'll just get better. And unfortunately, it won't be with us, and I need to move on before I get myself upset.
Well, look at the reports from yesterday. That anyone who's played football and watches football says mint, but people who don't support the team he plays for just say it's about his name. So I'd probably listen to the people that are paid to do it.
Yeah. I'll let you have next pick, Ian, for your midfielder.
Claudio Reyna.
Yeah.
Because he was just probably ahead of his time, to be fair, for what he did. And if he was playing now, he'd be at one of the top 6 clubs in England if he was around in this country. If not, he'd be somewhere mental like Dortmund or something, just running the show. He was just class. Just had something different. Just
like his son to sign for us. I'd like that. That would be nice, considering
nurturing back to.
We didn't really get to see enough of Claudio, did we? Because he was class and then did his ACL, and then we got relegated and he went to City. But yeah, I mean, I think anyone who watched Claudio Reyna will agree with that shout 100%. Brilliant footballer. Dave, have you picked?
I haven't made mine.
All right, well, I'm going to give it to Sophie then. Sophie,
right,
who's your midfielder?
It's all right. She's too young for mine, so I'm with that.
Right, so I'm going Jan Villa. I am literally just picking the Sam Allardyce team. Because
Fine.
I really liked Jan, and I wanted him to sign for us after he'd had that brilliant loan. And I think that he wanted to come back as well.
We went on Instagram, didn't he?
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Basically-
You've absolutely mugged me off a wrong one here.
No.
How's Sophie getting 2 centre midfielders before I get 1?
Because I want to do that.
She's already had Jan Kirchhoff. She can't have another Jan.
I know, but
Dave, you've got the luxury of watching some brilliant footballers. I've got the Sam Allardyce team. That's it.
You've got the Simon Grayson team. Behave yourself.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's mine.
Dave, pick your midfielder. Why have you gone on mute?
Oh, I didn't realise it was my turn. I was too busy running. Yeah.
The only turn you've got, you're the last one left.
Yeah, you've already mentioned him, and he was, again, classy. Probably ahead of his time again. Wish we had him for longer. Wish he was a little bit younger. And still, to this day, the only person to have written into his contract that he can't go to the moon. Stefan Schwartz. He was just, again, Rolls Royce. We've had a few of them over the years, haven't we? But just not for long enough, and not quite at the perfect age. But he was absolutely fantastic. And again, just someone who's so classy and can. It's almost as if it's what we need this season. Bolt, a Schwartz, as someone who has been there, done that, got the T-shirt, but still got a fair amount of ability as well.
I felt like with Schwartzy, it was like when we signed him, we knew he was good as well. It wasn't like a random stab in the dark with this player be good. Like, you knew he was good. But do you know the actual story behind why he had that clause in his contract about the moon? Do you actually know the story behind that?
Did he pay for? Did he already buy the tickets for when they were first doing the shuttle?
So basically, like, he bought the tickets for the shuttle, and they'd asked him about it or something, or someone had bought tickets for the shuttle, or something along that line. It was like someone on the board, or he'd bought them, or his agent had bought them, and they were chatting about it during the negotiations. And I think it was Bob Murray was like, "Well, you can't go to space. Like, the insurance is like." The insurance is not going to cover you going to space, mate. Katy Perry can do it, but you can't, and it was wrote in the contract. So yeah, myth dispelled with another one of my brilliant stories here. Jeez, I'm like buzzkill. But I'll take the first pick because I haven't had many, I don't think. Next to Job. Oh, there's a name in my head of another player that I just really loved, like an awful lot. I thought he was really, really, really good. I like him in the same way like I like Dan Neil. He sort of glided across the pitch. He could pick a pass short or long. He had a bit of an eye for goal, normally from long range. And whilst he didn't really play a great part at the end of the Great Escape season, and some people said he didn't want to get injured so he could get the World Cup, and that soured some people's opinions of him, I think I'm still going to go with him because I actually thought he was mint. And I feel like I'm in a kind of minority a little bit with this, and maybe I'm wrong. And there's clearly better midfielders than the midfielders I've picked, like Alex Ray, Kevin Ball. All of them were better, but this was just a player I just liked, and I've always liked since. So I'm going to go with Key.
Even though he also wore the wrong colours.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll let him off. I don't really remember it to this extent. Who would be who's going next to Reina?
The classic in a 4-4-2, you need someone who can play a bit and someone who's a bit of an enforcer, which probably tells you the route I'm going down with this. The only person I've seen hit his own crossbar with a tackle from the halfway line.
On Duncan Ferguson.
Ferguson, who completely fucking bottled it, by the way. It has to be Bally. There was another name that could have been in there, but we only had him for a year, so I'll see if his name comes up later. Who would also have been around there.
I don't think that would have been. I'll come back to it.
Yeah.
Sophie, I'll let you have next pick because I'm going to give Dave the last pick as many times as I possibly can.
Okay, poor Dave.
Don't pity him. Don't pity him.
My last midfielder is going to be Seb Larson because I loved Seb.
Can you clarify the love? Like, was it
Oh,
looks or was it?
well, it varied. No. I just loved him. I had Seven. I had Larson on the back of my shirt when I was a kid. He could whip a ball in. His corners were unreal. And I thought that he was at a time he was such a creative midfielder. And obviously,
Worked his
as he got
bollocks off
older,
as well. He worked
yeah, he
really
did.
hard as well.
Yeah, he did. And you wouldn't forget that he was there because some players they kind of fade, and you almost forget that they're playing. It was really hard. It was between him and Katz, but I just have to go with Seb. I think creativity wise, I have to go with Seb.
One of my favourite Seb things, apart from when he gave me dating tips, was which was on a previous podcast in a previous time, which you can go back to and listen to, because I can't remember how much I told you about that. And that interview he did with Joe the other week, he hasn't aged a day.
No, he's bloody gorgeous, isn't he?
He's such a handsome man. It's like it's not like that. I mean, someone had a go at me when we put out. Do you know when he did that interview? We talked about Seb and that. Said it was nice to see him back, and we talked about how gorgeous he was because it's kind of like what you have to say when you talk about Seb because it's just obvious. It's your pick, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, I've got another centre midfield. Well, I've still got another two to pick, but yeah.
You got another two? Oh yeah, have I?
Yeah. For me, very, very similar reasons to Ian with Bawley. Can play a bit, got round the pitch. Absolutely. Like, I'm telling you now, underrated. Absolutely.
I know exactly who you're going to say now. 100% agree.
Underrated criminally because if he was at his peak nowadays, I'm not going to go too far away with it, but it would have been the perfect way to play football for the way that he played. And he was absolutely fantastic. And we all love the song anyway, don't we?
Yep.
Diddle-a-da.
Oh, I didn't think you were going with that, but I agree wholeheartedly. No, I think he's a great player.
Gavin McCann.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely box to box engine. And again, just think of some of the centre midfielders that he was tearing it up against. Finished seventh. Unbelievable.
I went to Stamford Bridge when we won 4-2, and his second half performance was absolutely fucking outstanding. Like, he just absolutely ruined like world class midfielders that were playing that day. We won 4-2. He got the third. Hutchison got the first two. We're 2-1 down at half time, won 4-2. And that was like a good Chelsea team as well. It wasn't the Chelsea team that came to be, but it was a good Chelsea team. And we absolutely knackered them. And it was all because of how good Gavin McCann was. No, I'm fine with Gavin McCann. That's absolutely okay. I'll let Ian, what formation are you playing?
4-4-2.
4-4-2. So you got a right winger?
Right winger.
There's a few.
There is. I was hoping you were starting with left, so because I already have my pick.
We can go left. You can go
Locks
left
and
if you want.
loaders. Yeah, I'll go left. Alan Johnston.
Magic. Yeah.
Magic has to be because he was my favourite player, and I still dream about that Oxford. He didn't even score it, but in the Oxford game when we won 7-0, and he just cut inside, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's banging this in the top corner," and he chipped it, and it went about 50 yards in the air, and everyone just stopped. Even the keeper didn't even move, thinking, "Well, this is going in," and it just hit the top of the bar. It was just like, who even thinks to try something like that? He was just. Well,
Do you
magic,
think
wasn't he?
he was? Do you think though with Johnson, and maybe it's because of our age, because it was like totally our generation and Dave's generation. Do you think sometimes he gets forgot about? Because Magic was absolutely unbelievable.
Back in that day, how many inverted wingers were there? He was. I know it was only the championship, or only the championship quotation marks. But you couldn't defend against it then. You tried to show him on the outside, and Mickey Gray was going past him at 100 miles an hour, and you didn't want them to do that, so you had to show him inside because you could hurt you both ways.
He would do this thing as well, though, when he cut in. It wasn't just that he cut in, you thought, oh, he's going to score. 9 times out of 10, it was going in a bottom corner or top corner. Like Bolton, a couple of times he cut in, and he'd celebrate like, I know I can do it. It was actually devastating that he sat on his arse for a year doing that. And the funny thing is, Ashley's a Sunderland fan, obviously, but our brother's not. He gave my brother-in-law his league debut for Queen of the South. Random fact. And to him, he's just like, aye, Alan's a nice man. And I'm like, he was absolutely class, mate. But scored the last league goal at Roker Park with his head. which feels weird because he wasn't really that kind of player, really. He's class though. Like people talk about Arca and that, and I'm not going to criticize Arca because I think Arca was class as well, and he obviously did it in the Premier League. But I just think for me, no one's really come close to Magic on in that position over the years. Like not even close to it. So yeah, he'd get my team 100% every single time.
Left wing. I'm gonna go. Sessegnon.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I loved him. I know who you're talking about, and he's an option, but I have to go Stefan because he was the first player that I remember watching and being like, "Oh my God, he's class!" Like honestly, being blown away by Stefan Sessegnon, and he had a mint song as well.
By the way, have I changed your formation by accident?
4-3-3. I've done my three midfielders.
Who's your other midfielder you picked again? Because I haven't wrote it down.
Larson.
Said, aye, there
Yeah,
we go. Okay,
yeah.
that's fine.
That
Okay,
yeah, that's
I'm
mine.
fine with that. I've just also spelled his name wrong. Sessognon. Sounds
Yeah.
like a drink, doesn't it? Sessegnon. There we go. Give me a really good day out of Middlesbrough away as well. That was good fun. His goal against Norwich, not spoken about enough. One of the best goals Stephen White's ever seen, and people don't speak about it enough. The little nutmeg, the cross out of Fraser Campbell, the cross in, the little header, outstanding. Should be talked about more.
Was it him who scored against Swansea as well?
Yeah.
From a ridiculously tight angle.
Like, shouldn't have happened.
No.
Like, he was just.
It was like a volley as well, wasn't it?
The funny thing is with Cess, apart from Fulham away, he could do everything. But 9 times out of 10, when he shot, he had like lead boots. They were all like proper like little dribblers that just rolled into the keeper's hands. But when he hit it, or if he like used the side of his boot, I think there's two I can remember where he hit it. Fulham class, little spin, bangs it in top corner, and the Mags away, the first one. But that's more like a placed shot. But Sessegnon, one of the most talented players I've ever seen in my life. Period. Um, Dave, I'll let you have this choice. You've got what did you go 4-3-3?
So I went 4-5-1. So I'm having another centre midfielder,
Right.
well, which would be me kind of cam. Now this is probably gonna you're all gonna tell us that I'm not allowed to have it, but I'm having it because of the season that he played. Well, helped us out the shit because we didn't have a centre forward basically. So I'm having it because he played it as a false nine. So that means he's allowed to play central in front of Schwartz and in front of Gavin McCann as well. But he's a lot class him as a winger, and I don't care because we all love him. You're not meant to fall in love with lone players, are you? But he is quite clearly the classiest footballer I think we've ever had at the stadium. Like, if I'm honest with you,
Who are you talking about?
Ahmad.
Yeah, I picked that.
Oh no, man.
And I know it's controversial. I know, but like, I've got to have someone to support me centre forward, and I am claiming Ahmad as my number 10.
He did play the 10, to be fair. He did play the 10, so he can have
But he just spent all of his time holding hands with Patrick Roberts, which we all appreciate.
Yeah.
And I'm absolutely devastated that I completely forgot about him and I turned down the option to pick a right winger. But the plan sword.
Tell you what, normally I'm the one who's absolutely crap at this game, but I'm looking at my team and I'm thinking, I'm absolutely loving this.
For clarity, I'm going to go through everyone's team here. I've wrote it down, right? So Sophie's got Jordan Pickford in goal, Bardo, Wes Brown, Yunus Kabul, and PVA at left back, Kirchhoff and Vila and Larson in the middle, and Cess on the left of a front three. Ian's got CG, Trey, John Mensah, Pies, Paul Butler, Martin Scott, Claudio Reyna, Kevin Ball, Alan Johnson with a right wing and two centre forwards to pick. I've got Sorensen, Santiago Regini, Johnny Evans, Jody Craddock, Dennis Serkin, Job, Key. So I've got another pick, haven't I? And Dave's got Mark Poom, Chris Macon, Emerson Tom, Steve Bold, Marcus Alonso, Stefan Schwartz, Gavin McCann, and Ahmad. I feel like I deserve a pick. I've lost where we are here, but I think I need another pick. And I'm going 4-3-3, so I've got to find someone to fit Job and Key. Well, I think Job and Key can carry the ball fine. So I think I've got creativity there. So I probably need an enforcer who can also play a bit. Alex Ray, innit? Aye, aye. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I'm not going to overthink it. There might be people screaming at the.
Has everyone picked all the midfielders now?
In your formation, you've got a right winger.
Yeah, I'm just saying the midfielder that I could have picked, but you couldn't think of that we had for a year. The Albanian madman, Lorik Sana.
Also, Cat hasn't been picked.
No.
I feel bad about that. But good midfielders. It's fine. Sophie, I'll let you. I feel like I'm giving you an extra pick here, and I've lost track of who's got where, and it's fine. No one really cares. Like, it's done now. It's recorded by the time you listen to this. No one gives a shit. You can have your centre forward or your right hand side of a three.
Oh,
Oh, imagine if you could still pick Ahmad. You'd have like Ahmad and Cess running between at
I
centre
know.
forward.
I know. I'm thinking about that, but I'm all right with my right wing because I think no one's going to pick who I'm going to pick. So I'm gonna steal forward, and it has to be for me. It has to be Defoe.
JD? Aye,
Yeah,
fine with
it
that.
has to be like probably the best that I've seen. So yeah, JD.
I'd argue one more. Some people would say I'm wrong, but I won't say who, just in case he's left over. Dave, I'll let you have the next one. Where are you at? You're on.
The left wing, right wing, or centre forward.
Aye.
Nobody is going to pick my centre forward, so I'm absolutely at ease with that. So I'll leave that. I'm going to go left wing, and thinking that we're playing 4-5-1 and going back and like the way that you'd have to play and stuff like that, and you'd have to get back in. My left winger, and I'm really, really gutted that we didn't sign him full time, actually, but I thought he was absolutely stellar. That breakthrough season, and we've had a few loan players that have broke through, but I really, really, really enjoyed watching Stuart Downing that year. He was absolutely electric, to be quite honest. Got everyone on the edge of the seat, and just a bit gutted we didn't get him full time, really.
By the way, though, Downing over Geeds.
Yeah, different players, aren't they? And just because I'm playing that 4-5-1, if it was a 4-3-3, I think Geeds would be up there because he's a bit more. But going old school 4-5-1, I'm going to pick Downing.
So you've got a centre forward and a right winger to pick. Is that right? So your team at the minute is Poom, Megan, Tom, Steve Bold, Alonso. Then you got no right winger, but you got Schwartz, McCann, and Ahmad in the 10, Downing on the left.
Yeah.
In the centre forward. All right. I think I'm behind here because I've lost track of who's picking away. So I'll pick mine next because I've got Sorensen, Virginie, Evans, Craddock, Serkin, Job, Key, Ray, and then I've got like me front three to pick. I mean, I could be greedy because I've still got a centre forward left, but like I'm not going to pick one of those two. I'm not going to do it because I think they need to be played in a two, and I've picked a 4-3-3. So there's my reason behind it. I can't pick one without the other. I love them both just as much. So I'll go because I can't pick Darren Bent because obvious reasons. I'm going to go a man that I, to this day, still absolutely love with all my heart. Actually, Ross Stewart. That's me centre forward. I'll pick me right wing and me left wing after that. I'm completely comfortable with Ross Stewart being there. And I know I've picked Ross Stewart over Quinn and Phillips, but Quinn and Phillips are a duo. You don't play one up front, and Quinny's not going to play on the right wing, is he? Let's be honest. And neither is Phillips. He doesn't deserve that. Best striker that ever existed. So, Ian, I think
Ross Stewart's perfect for a 4-3-3, to be fair.
He's absolutely
Just
delightful.
gives you everything, doesn't he?
Yeah, perfect.
I've got me it's right winger for me, isn't it? A right midfield he will be a winger. I'm not playing a defensive right midfielder.
It's a really obvious one.
Yeah, it probably is. But I'm going to go for Martin Smith on that because he didn't play much under Reid because obviously Nicky Summerby was there, who was the obvious one. But if I'm having Johnson come in from one side, I'll do the same with Martin Smith. And he is, of course, the biological son of Pelé. So
yeah,
can't leave him out.
My first ever to repair him, Smithy. I still like. of the people I've spoken to on the podcast, well, like Sam Allardyce being the biggest one, I still don't get as nervous with people like that as I do Smithy. Because I'm still just like, oh, it's Martin Smith.
And also, you've got to pick him for when he was on loan at Sheffield United and they were losing at the Mags, and they were singing Mackham wants to score, Mackham wants to score, and he just held up the 2-1 on his way off the pitch, and he's just legend status just for that.
Proper Sunderland boy. I was at his game in the under-21s when he got booed onto the pitch for St James's Park when he played for England under-21s.
Brilliant.
Honest to God. Sophie, I think you've got your last position. You've got one left. Hang on. What? You've got one left. I've got two left, and Dave's got one left. Right. So technically, it should be me and Ian picking next. Really.
No, I've still got me right winger as well, haven't I?
Have you?
Still got me right midfield.
Oh, you have. Okay, right. I'll let you go next, mate.
No, someone go because I haven't quite worked it out yet. Anyway, so
you haven't worked out the right winger when we've just said there's an obvious one.
Well, there is an obvious one, and I'm just having a bit of a deep
want to be like that.
Well, yeah, exactly. But no, to be honest, go on then. I'll just jump in because it is Nicky Summerbee, and he's,
Aye.
I believe, at one point had the most powerful light
shot,
foot, wasn't it? Is that 99 miles an hour? I think it was clocked at. And again, just a great success story of being around and then finding a home and finding a manager who believed in how he played. Absolute dream. And then
the thing
is, Nicky Great is watching. That's how you take a fucking penalty.
Best penalty I've seen. That it's kind of forgotten about, unfortunately.
It'd still be travelling now if the net wasn't in the way.
I feel like I'm missing people out. And I definitely am. But I've kind of buggered myself because I'm playing a 4-3-3. And if anyone ever asks me what's your best Sunderland team, I always pick 4-4-2. So I can have Quinn and Phillips up front. And I've already explained why I don't want Quinn and Phillips up front in this team. Or why I'm not going to pick them. So then I'm thinking, right wing. And like, because Ahmad's gone, Summerbee wouldn't play in a 4-3-3 and he's gone anyway. I kind of get beyond the kind of like recency bias of like the man that we all know I defend vigorously. And I'm thinking, have I missed someone really obvious that would fit into a 4-3-3 on the right wing? And I don't think I am. So, I'm going to get shot here because I've already got Jobs and Serkin in.
You're not tempted by Neil Wainwright?
No, I'm not.
No, fair enough.
Or Jerry Harrison, matter of fact. But if we're going back to like...
Can I tell a really funny Neil Wainwright story?
Yes.
While you're thinking. So, went to New Ferrens Park to watch the reserves way back when, and Neil Wainwright was on the right wing. Quinny was coming back from injury, so he was through the middle. It's not a loud place, reserve games. There's generally little to no atmosphere. Wainwright bursts down the right, Quinny in the middle. Obviously, you're expecting a cross in. Just shanks it completely out of play. Whole crowd's just parents with the kids. And Quinny, at the top of his voice, "Oh, Wayne, that was shite." And then 5 seconds of silence before he apologised to the crowd for using foul language and was like, yeah.
Oh, he's a nice lad, Quinny. Nice man. Nice lad.
Yeah.
He's a nice Sir Niall Quinn. I'm going to have to go with Roberts.
Yeah.
I know my team's not recent, but like I love him. He's had 2 promotions with us. And look, it will be Ahmad every single day of the week. And if I'm playing 4-4-2, it will be Summerbee every single day of the week. But no, I'm not going to apologise for that, Roberts. I don't care. Sorry on that.
He'll play an important role next year. That's for sure. He's we've always been big defenders of him, but he sees things that no one else sees. He's got a work ethic nowadays that he probably didn't have.
Me and Patrick are gonna live forever.
And you've got to put on top of that, he's classy. Not only is the work rate and everything there, he loves the football club. He's another one who's found his home. He's a very good footballer as well. Very good footballer.
Just so everyone knows that we're like fair to everyone. After Dave said that, I was just going to go Park Life. We don't have a band that we prefer more than anyone else. Pulp are the best band of the 3. Sophie, your final pick.
I was going to go with a proper. I've only got one left.
Who you got though? What's your position?
Right wing.
Aye, that's right. Aye.
I was going to go for a really controversial one,
How
but
controversial we're talking?
I think
If it's who I'm thinking, it's the most controversial.
no, no, no,
No.
no, no, no. But I am gonna go. I'm gonna go Carlos Edwards.
No, I'm fine
I
with that.
am. I'm gonna go that my controversial one was Jaccarini. Do you remember Jaccarini?
Ooh,
1 Jacker, 2
he
Jacker,
was
3 Jackarini, 4 Jacker, 5 Jacker,
Yeah,
6 Jackarini, 7 Jacker, 8 Jacker,
but
9
I
Jackarini.
think it would have
Hey,
been very
Jackarini.
interesting. Only question him, and I know he didn't score many. I think he scored like a couple of goals,
You've gone.
like. But I liked him. No,
You sound like a robot, so.
I'm gonna
So you've died.
go Carlos Edwards.
Lamine Yamal just pulled the internet cord out of the phone.
Sophie, you still there? Oh, she's gone. Bless her. Right. I think, to be fair, I have one left. You've got one left, Dave, but Ian's got two.
mm,
Obvious choice, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Just which one? Which one first?
Quinny every time. For
Yeah,
me.
I mean, I'll just have to go for Kevin Phillips. Really, it's just I don't need to really explain. There's no reason I need to give.
Just good at life, good at football.
It's just good, and I just remember everyone was like, "Oh, he's just a goal scorer," and then he got that bad toe injury against Chester in the cup, and came back came on as sub in one game, and he was right next to the dugouts, and someone took a throw into him, and the first thing he did was at a half volley pass across the pitch, and he just landed on Nicky Somerby's toe end, and I was like, "Yeah, he doesn't need any warming up. This lad, he's."
Do you remember his first goal in his return at QPR? It was with his toe on the outside of his boot.
Outside of his boot from the edge of the box in the top corner, yeah.
And he ran away and started pointing at his shirt in the back, but it was back in the day when you had no names on the back, so he was just pointing at number 10, which is kind of cool in its own way. But yeah, look, Phillips, just the arrogance of a good goal scorer.
Yeah.
I just don't know what else you can say about Kevin Phillips. He's God at the end of the day. As far as I'm concerned, the man's God, hates the Mags, loves to score goals for Sunderland, so I'm completely fine with it. Right, okay. Do I give this? Well, Dave, you said no one's going to pick this. You said no one's going to pick your centre forward, so you might as well go for it.
No, I'll go last. Go on, you're all right because well, yeah, you go for it, and then
No, I've picked me centre forward.
Oh, you done, are you?
No, I've got like a left winger to get, but you picked your centre forward.
Fair enough. Absolutely controversial pick. You've already mentioned him, to be fair. But thinking about the team, thinking the way he was, and he should have, and I really hope he does. And he's never going to come out and say it publicly. Maybe he's until another 20, 30 years.
What are you going to say?
Yeah, it's one of them because he was that good. He was that good. He should have been with us and been mentioned in the same breath as the likes of Quinn and Phillips. And he chased the dollar and he absolutely ruined his legacy. And that's fine if that's what you've got to do. But I would say for any of the kids that are out there now, any of the kids that are at Sunderland Football Club and where you're at, and I hate to go off on a passionate rant, but just remember the grass is not always greener. Villa are a very, very good football club, but sometimes if teams aren't built the way that they need to be for you to fit into them perfectly, it just doesn't work out for you. And my centre forward in this team, based on how good he was, forget the attitude, forget being a turncoat. He was a very, very good footballer and very exciting, knew how to score, probably our most natural goal scorer after Kevin Phillips. And that was a long time coming. But Darren Bent, I'm just absolutely gutted that his career ended the way that it did at Sunderland. I've got no problem with people. Look at Job. I hope he goes off and does the things that I think he will go and do. But do things in a proper manner. Do things in a proper way, and you can still be loved here and still be accepted elsewhere. Just a bit gutted that it ended like that, but I firmly believe a very, very good footballer.
I think the thing with Bent is people always go, I remember it was typically him that scored the goal for Burton that we got sent down. That goal was like the downfall of, in my opinion, if you go right back to when Sunderland's first fall from grace really happened, it was kind of when Benty left. Even though we had Jan and Welbeck, within 3 months, or 6 months, sorry, we had, and I didn't mind Nicholas Bentner, but it was only Nicholas Bentner that we kind of had because Jan went away to Qatar and Welbeck came back from loan. And I sometimes feel like the goal that he scored against us to relegate us, that he scored for Burton, with all due respect, the fact that he was playing for Burton at that point and we were getting relegated to League One showed you how bad that move had been for both parties. And like, without getting too sentimental about it, Darren Bent should be spoken about the same way I speak about Defoe, the same way I speak about Phillips, maybe not to that extent, the same way that I speak about Ross Stewart, and to like a latter extent, like your Wilsons and that these days. But like, he was, as the song said, he was completely dynamite. I remember the game against Birmingham, I think we went 2-0 up and he scored 2 goals in the first 4 minutes. And I said the lad next to us, who I still sit next to, it was like, oh, and if it falls in the box, he's just going to put it in the back of the net. It's just like, I'm so confident in him bagging it. And then he spoke well, he spoke the right way. But like, he's probably the reason that I kind of don't buy into or I try my best not to buy into when people tell me how much they love the club and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, but Ben said that.
Absolutely. And I think the thing that will irk people even more, and rightly so, and I understand.
He still annoys us now, Dave, to be honest.
Yeah, of course it does, because he needed a home. He needed someone to put their arm around him, because Harry Redknapp was going to play his nan over it. He said it. He came out and said it. He said, the missus, sorry, she'd score that. He needed someone to love him. I mean, not only did he have a manager who believed in him and loved him, he had 46,000 people every week absolutely going, like, we needed a centre forward who could score goals. We needed someone who was that level above, and he got that, and then still shatting us. So I totally understand it. And you're right. It's painful, but yeah, that's the emotion getting in the way. Ultimately, he was a very good footballer, and I quite like my little 4-5-1 there, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not bad. Two good wingers as well, in terms of Summerby and Stewie down and putting them in, and Ahmad just sitting behind him. I think that would actually work. But what we got left, right? Me, I need to pick a left winger. I'll give it to Ian first because he's got the obvious choice. You've got Phillips up front. Who would you like next to Kevin Phillips?
I'd probably.
Danny.
There's one.
Danny.
Well, there could be another one as well, though. That we didn't have him for long, and he went away and did good things, and had injuries after that, and pretty much finished him. But he did come back.
Oh yeah,
and score one. He was. I think for our age, he was the first. He would be called a wonder kid if he was around nowadays.
Yeah,
he would be in the same regard that we hold Rig and Job under. Obviously, I know Job didn't come through the academy with us, but it's difficult. I am
the Stickman you're talking about. I'm guessing you're talking about Stickman.
Yeah.
Aye.
But I think I've got to go for Quinn because of so many. There's so many reasons I don't even need to say any of them. But everyone's saying he's just a target man. He's just as good as his head. But look at the goals he scored against Arsenal. The chip against Port Vale when he went through and he was celebrating like as it left his foot, just ran off. Yeah, and he was just so much better than anyone gave him credit for. But
unbelievable.
But
Stickman
was superb. Retired Steve Bruce by turning him inside out on the 6-yard box twice at Sheffield United away. And he just didn't. I don't think Steve Bruce played the game after that. He just couldn't. He's like, well, if this is what's coming through, there's no point.
And the thing is, he missed a pen in that game as well. He put it over the bar by 20 yards. He could have had a hat-trick, but it was that little step over thing he used to do, and just like you could see what he was doing, but like it's a bit like Jack Clark. I mean, Bridges was better than Jack Clark. Much better, much more talent, and that's no disrespect to Jack Clark. That's how good Michael Bridges was. But there was stuff Bridges did that you knew was going to happen, but you couldn't stop it. And it was like so sad that his first goal that he scored against Southend away, This is really delving back in the archives. You actually can't
I
see
know it.
because the fog was so bad you can't actually watch it. And what was it, Time Tease television? They showed you the
Yeah.
highlights, but you couldn't see it. It was just a fog.
Everyone's just
Who was it? But the commentator got
yeah.
it. It was, oh, Bridges has scored. I was like, how's he seen that? But 2-0 Southend away. I remember that on the way to the Ensley League Division One league title. No, okay, you can't. But you can't not say Quinny.
And not pick Quinn and everything that he did after that as well.
Apart from
Like,
management.
well, yeah, but he did as chairman. He did sack himself. So you got to give him
Yeah,
credit
true.
there.
So yeah, he had foresight to know that it was going quite
Yeah.
badly. Um, the recency binds is sticking in again when I think they've left wing in a 4-3-3 because I loved Clarkey. But there must be someone I'm missing here. I mean, am I missing someone in a 4-3-3 that would go on the
You've
left
already
wing?
mentioned him earlier.
Have I?
Yeah.
McGeady? Oof. Geeta Clarkey. Because the argument is Clarkey did it in the championship. But the other argument would be that's not really McGeady's fault. I didn't do it in the championship. He did everything to try and make sure it wasn't in League One. And there's no one. Uh,
Danny Welbeck has to be a bit of a mention as well. What were you playing 4-3-3?
yeah, Welbeck could play in a 4-3-3.
And he was great that season as well, wasn't
Didn't actually score that many, but yeah.
he?
And
No.
he got injured a couple of times, but yeah, like there's a reason Danny Welbeck's well remembered, and I think it's because of things like that. There's also technically Kieran Richardson,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
who
Welbeck was one of my considerations as well. To be fair,
yeah, really good Welbeck, and I think Richardson's probably not remembered as fondly as he should be.
No,
Like I actually liked him,
possibly a bit underrated, actually.
yeah, because he was a utility man, so he never really sat in one position. But like he could score a goal. He scored a lot of important goals in that first season once he got over his back injury that he had because he had a stress fracture. Oh, but Clark, he scored 17 goals from the wing in the championship.
Yeah, I think the thing about people like Jack Clark is as well completely different to McGee because Jack Clark's pretty. When you look at him and watch him from a football perspective, he's quite one-dimensional. And whereas some people might think that that's bad, to still score 17 goals when you know what he's going to do is quite a talent, really. He was integral to how we played football. Let's be honest about it.
Can I throw in like a random one? Kasri was really good. Just
Yeah,
Moisey thought he was fat when Moisey came in. Kasri was a great player.
classy, absolutely classy.
Really good player, Kasri. No issues with Kasri whatsoever. Part of that team that basically went on a what was it, three defeats in the last 15 under Allardyce. Kasri's a decent shout. Um, Arca. Arca's a shout. Julio did it in the Premier League, didn't he, as well? Um, I definitely feel like I'm missing someone because I keep going back. I'm going to be honest, Jack Clark's the one I'm thinking of. Jack Clark would be the one for me. Probably more, I enjoyed maybe watching him play more than the other ones I've mentioned. But I also feel like Geeds would have done the same as what he did in League One in the Championship, just the rest of the team was ultimately not very good. So,
And
in
Smealer
Geeds'
Talek.
no. No. Uh,
Would Steed not play in a wing role?
oh,
And you
Not
want to
Grant.
shout?
oh,
To
hey,
shout.
that is a shout.
Good
Is there,
player, very good player.
is there
amongst the
anyone?
pigeons, that
Oh, yeah, Steed's better than the aforementioned ones that I've had. So Steed's the winner. But is there anyone else that could match Steed? There's not really. I mean, I was watching the
Andy Welsh.
nice to have Andy Welsh, bless him, but no. Um, oh, I was watching the Carling Cup final last night because it was on the full 90. It was on replay on Sky, and I forget how well we played. But the left hand side of the midfield five that day was Colback, so I
Yeah.
can't even like go back to that. And um,
Johnny Oster.
no,
Used to be shite.
Now he's all right for a very small period of time.
Yeah, very
What
small.
about the certain man that played left wing and loved McDonald's and Burger King?
Oh, Andy Reid's a shout. Yeah, and Andy Reid for a period when he didn't love McDonald's and Burger King was actually really, really good. Such a cultured footballer.
Did it in
Brilliant.
the Premier League.
Hmm.
A proper Barclays minute, the kids would say now.
But was he better than Steed? No.
Wonder the left foot.
Yeah. Better. I'd say better end product from Andy Reid, but watching Steed was like a privilege at points.
Steed was busier, wasn't
Yeah, he was just Steed, wasn't
he? Mm.
Okay, so there's Steed, but let me just rack my brain one more time before I decide 100% on Steed. There's people screaming at the podcast right now, isn't there? No, there's people like, oh, you've like helped us out on the dog walk. There's people just the dog's just getting screamed at right now with a random name that I can't think of. No, you know what, Steed? I'm fine with that. Like Patrick Roberts and Steve Malbranque feeding Ross Stewart, I think it's quite good. I'm comfortable with that. So in terms of the full teams, because what I want you to do is I want you to reply to this and tell me what you think are the best teams. So you've got Sophie's in a 4-3-3 is Jordan Pickford, Phil Bardsley, Wes Brown, Yunus Kabul, Patrick Van Aanholt, a midfield three of Jan Kirchhoff, Jan Villa, Seb Larson, a front three of Collis Edwards, Jermaine Defoe, and Stefan Sessegnon. Then you've got Ian's, which is Craig Gordon in goal, Trey Hume at right back, John Mensah and Paul Butler at centre half, Martin Scott at left back, Martin Smith on the right wing, Claudio Reyna and Kevin Ball in the middle, Magic Alan Johnson on the left, and of course Quinn and Phillips up front. Then you've got me, which is kind of a mismatch, which I think I've messed up a little bit, but here we are. I've got Tommy Sorensen in the nets, Santiago Virginie, Johnny Evans, Jody Craddock, and Dennis Serkin at left back. I've got Job, Key, and Alex Ray in the middle. Then a front three of Patrick Roberts on the right, Steed on the left, and Ross Stewart up front. Then Dave has Mart Poom in goal, Macon, Emerson Tom, Steve Bold, Marcus Alonso, Nicky Summerby, Stephen Schwartz, Gavin McCann, Stuart Downing, Ahmad in the 10, and Darren Bent. Now, there's one more to go. You're going to get to choose a manager to look after them. Dave, I'll let
I
you
was
have the
hoping
first
you were
pick.
going there because I was literally just about to say it. I mean, Sophie, you've got no choice but to have Sam Allardyce. We've picked it for you. You're done. You don't need it's got to be Sam Allardyce.
Regis Labrie, thank you very much. But Dave, you've got the first choice. I'm going to let you have it.
So I'm going to go for it, trying to base it on who I think would manage the group of players that I've got the best, which is really tricky to do because they're from all over and whatever. But I'm going to, not particularly fondly remembered for his time at Sunderland, unfortunately, but ultimately a good manager in his heyday. I'm going to have Martin O'Neill as my manager.
Excellent, man.
Okay.
Just for that team in particular, I reckon Martin O'Neill will do a job.
Ian, I'll let you have the second choice.
Tempted to pick Sam Allardyce just to watch the panic on Sophie's face when that comes up, but I think it's got to be Peter Reid because the two wide players played under him. Obviously, the Pies at the back and the two up top. It'd have to be Peter Reid. I can't really think of anyone. Phil Parkinson was close, but it's got to be Peter Reid.
Philip. Sophie, who's your pick? You've got two.
I thought, you know what, Phil Parkinson. No, I'm joking. No, God no.
What about the married man with 6 kids?
Oh yeah, Coleman. No, you know what? It's so easy to pick Sam Allardyce, Reggie, but you know what? I'm gonna do what Dave said about picking a manager that I think would work, and I'm gonna go for Poyet.
I had that. I had Poyet.
Oh, I'm sorry. You can have Reggie. Or Sam.
Yeah, you know what, Reggie? Good way to end it because Reggie's got DC. He's got Job, or he had Job, and Patrick Roberts. So yeah, and I think a midfield three of Job, Key, and Alex Ray would fit a Reggie's team, and I think the classy centre halves of Johnny Evans and Jody Craddock at the back would be absolutely fine. Look, Virginie would need some work, but if there's anyone that can do it, I think Reggie can do it. maybe, potentially. I don't even know where he is these days, to be fair, Santiago. But look, let us know in the comments, and I never say that because I normally just say don't speak to us and please unsubscribe. But let us know in the comments which team you thought was best. And if you want to say mine, that's fine, but you'll probably disagree. But Sophie, Dave, Ian, thanks for filling up summer. I appreciate you being on.
Absolute pleasure. I reckon we'll do a few people's dog walking. A world of good tomorrow morning. A little bit of blues, and if they're anything like me, thick head. So yeah, and
I think they turned off Dave when I said Virginia, to be honest.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, Sophie, just remember to give Lamine some bread and water and stuff tonight in that suitcase.
Yeah, I'll look after him. Don't worry. He's a canny bear.
Thanks very much.